Long, long ago, before there were cities or books or even songs to sing, the world was covered in mist and silence. Mountains stretched across the land like sleeping giants, and oceans whispered quietly in the dark. Animals roamed freely, but the most curious creatures of all were the humans. They were small and fragile, shivering when the cold winds blew and stumbling when night fell. They ate only what they could pick from the wild, because they didn't know how to cook food, warm their hands, or chase away the hungry beasts that growled in the shadows. But even then, inside their hearts, lived a tiny spark of something truly extraordinary: imagination. Up on Mount Olympus, the gods watched over the world. Some were fierce, some were gentle, and some, like Zeus, the king of all gods, were powerful and proud. But among them was a titan named Prometheus. Unlike the others, Prometheus didn't spend his days throwing lightning bolts or riding chariots of clouds. He loved to wander the earth, studying its rivers, stones, and creatures. He was curious, thoughtful, and kind. Most of all, he loved humans. He watched them huddle together on freezing nights, like frightened little birds. He saw children cry when storms rolled in. And though humans were weak, Prometheus saw something no one else did. He saw their potential to grow. One evening, as Prometheus sat on a cliff watching the last light fade from the sky, the wise goddess Athena appeared beside him. "What are you thinking, Prometheus?" she asked softly. He sighed, gazing down at the world. "Look at them. Humans stumble in darkness. They fear the night and the cold. If only they had something to help them survive, something powerful yet hopeful." Athena's eyes shimmered. "You mean fire?" Prometheus nodded slowly. Fire was no ordinary gift. It could warm them, cook their food, help them build, and shape metal. With fire, humans could learn to create. But it was also dangerous. And worse, Zeus had forbidden it. "Humans are not ready," Zeus had declared. "Fire is for the gods alone. If they learn too much, they will challenge us." But Prometheus disagreed. "Wisdom grows only when it is shared," he whispered to himself. For many nights, he watched humans shiver, watched the cold steal their strength, and watched storms leave them hungry and afraid. His heart ached for them. Finally, he stood tall. "If Zeus will not help them," Prometheus decided, "then I will." Waiting until Mount Olympus was quiet and asleep, Prometheus wrapped himself in a cloak of starlight and walked silently through the grand palace of the gods. Marble floors glowed beneath his feet, and frozen clouds drifted along the high ceilings. At the very center of the palace burned the sacred flame, a fire so bright it painted gold onto the walls. It danced like a living spirit, crackling softly, as if whispering secrets only the courageous could hear. Prometheus reached out his hand. The flame leaped toward him, warm but not burning. Carefully, he took a glowing ember and placed it inside a hollow stalk of fennel, a plant strong enough to hide the fire without letting it die. With his precious gift tucked safely away, Prometheus hurried back down the mountain. The wind howled around him, trying to snatch the ember away. Thunder rolled through the sky like Zeus waking from a dream, but Prometheus did not stop. At last, he returned to the world of humans. They gathered around him, curious and a little nervous. "What is that?" a little girl whispered, pointing to the glowing stalk. Prometheus knelt and placed the ember gently on the ground. He gathered dry sticks and leaves, breathed softly on the spark, and suddenly, whoosh! A brilliant flame burst to life. The humans gasped. The fire glowed like a tiny sunrise, warm and bright. It crackled happily, sending sparks dancing into the air. Children reached out their hands and felt a gentle heat for the very first time, not the burning sun, but a comforting warmth that wrapped around them like a soft blanket. They laughed. They sang. They danced around the flames. Prometheus smiled. "This," he said, "will help you survive. Fire will cook your food, keep you warm, and light up your nights. But remember, use it wisely. Fire can help, but it can also harm." The people nodded eagerly. They were grateful. They felt powerful, not in a scary way, but in a hopeful one. That night, for the first time ever, the dark world glowed with flickering golden light. Far away, even the stars seemed to shine a little brighter, but not all eyes were filled with joy. High on Mount Olympus, Zeus awoke to a strange sight. The world below sparkled with tiny golden dots, like new stars scattered across the land. He stood to his full height, his voice rumbling like an earthquake. Who gave fire to the humans? He roared. No god dared to answer, but Zeus already knew. His anger crackled in the sky, lightning flashed, and clouds swirled into a great storm. Prometheus has disobeyed me. The other gods trembled. Some felt sorry for Prometheus, but all of them feared Zeus's wrath. Only Athena whispered softly, "He did it out of love," but Zeus was unmoved. "If humans learn too much," he thundered, "they will no longer need us." He summoned his guards. "Bring Prometheus before me." Prometheus did not run. He stood tall as the guards approached, knowing the price of his choice. "You have given humans the power of the gods," Zeus bellowed. "I gave them a chance to live," Prometheus replied calmly. "They do not need to live in fear forever." But Zeus was furious. "For your defiance," he declared, "you shall be chained to the highest mountain. There you will stay for all eternity." So, Prometheus was taken to a lonely windswept cliff, high above the world. They bound him with chains stronger than iron, forged by Hephaestus, the god of metalworking, who wept as he did his work. "I am sorry," Hephaestus whispered. Prometheus just smiled gently. "Do not be. I would choose the same path again." Every day, a great eagle, sent by Zeus, flew to the mountain to torment the brave Titan. But Prometheus endured it all. He never cried out, and he never regretted his gift to humanity, because below the world was changing. Humans learned to cook their food and melt metal to build tools. They chased away the darkness with flaming torches. Villages grew into towns, and towns grew into cities. Children listened to stories told by the warmth of the fire, feeling safe and happy. The world was becoming brighter and brighter, all because of one brave choice. Years and years passed. But even Zeus could not ignore what he saw. Humans did not become dangerous monsters. They became creators. They made music, art, homes, and dreams. Finally, a great hero named Heracles climbed the mountain where Prometheus was chained. With Zeus's permission given at last, he broke the heavy chains and set the Titan free. Prometheus stretched his arms wide, feeling the wind on his skin once again. He looked down, and the world below sparkled like a sea of stars. His gift has survived. And so, the story of Prometheus became more than just a myth. It became a reminder that fire is not just light. It is knowledge. It is courage. It is the spark that lives inside every single person. Prometheus believed that even the smallest child carries a hidden flame, the ability to learn, to imagine, and to change the world for the better. The fire he gave us so long ago still lives today. You can see it in every candle on a birthday cake. You can feel it in every campfire that keeps friends warm. And it exists in every great idea that begins with a tiny spark of inspiration. And whenever someone uses their gifts to help others, the spirit of Prometheus smiles, knowing that his light will never ever fade. Thank you so much for listening to our story. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe for more bedtime tales. Good night!